Okay, call the Sparks City Council meeting of February 25th, 2019 to order, please, with a roll call.
Mayor Smith.
Here.
Council members Abbott.
Here.
Lawson.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Bybee. Here. Dare.
Here.
City Attorney Adams. Here. City Manager Driscoll.
Here.
We have a quorum, thank you.
Okay, Bishop Cameron Adeline, are you here? Come on up, sir. Church of the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for the opening prayer, invocation. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I invite you to prepare for prayer in the manner of which you're accustomed. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for our blessings bestowed by Thy hand. We thank Thee for the snow and rain we have received this winter. We thank Thee for the blessing it is to live in a free country. We pray for our country that Thou would bless it and the people of it. We thank Thee for our families, our dear friends, and our associates. We thank Thee for our wonderful community. We thank Thee for our public servants that work to serve our community. We pray for our community that we may work together to find solutions to our problems, that we may look for and identify the values we have in common rather than find fault in each other. We pray now that Thy Spirit may bless this council meeting, that Thy Spirit may distill upon us, and that Thy wisdom may inspire and bless our discussion and decisions this day. We humbly pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Bishop. If you remain standing, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Anderson, would you lead us?
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'm going to open up the public comment period. Anybody wishing to speak during public comment, please fill out one of these cards. Our first speaker is Dave Moran. Dave, come on down. You have 3 minutes, sir. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. I normally don't address city councils. I usually write down everything.
That's okay.
My name is Dave Morgan, and
I'm sorry.
I just established a new local news website devoted exclusively to the city of Sparks. I've been through Reno and Sparks 3 times in the last 30 years. And I came back and I said, man, they're still not getting the coverage they deserve. I mean, when you've got a big city right next door, you've got scale, you've got money, you've got events and all that kind of stuff, and so all the great stuff that's going on over here, kind of is an also ran in a lot of the publication. It goes for television too. I first came to Reno in the mid-'70s. Ed Pierce hired me.
Ed Pierce.
Ed Pierce. He's still over at 8 now, But I worked with him and Buddy Frank and some others, and I've worked in Portland. I've worked in South Bay, San Francisco, Southern California, and just kind of had a ball. I've never gone to work a day in my life, and I don't intend to start now. So my reporting style is very laid back. It can be interpretive at times, but I always love to bring context, a sense of progress through an issue, whether it's, police enforcement or trying to explain tax increment financing with redevelopment agencies. I mean, I've been there for years. So this is my final tour of duty, and I just wanted to let you know that the website's up, Sparks News Today, and it's going to be a while. I'm not going to be seeking any advertisers because I have another very large website that I run remotely on the Oregon coast, and so someday I'm going to be selling that and so on and so forth. But I just want to let you know that I'm no beginner. There's not much I haven't seen. I write for the heart and for the meaning and for the progress of a town. I don't dwell on gotchas or trying to pump up adrenaline. I'm here just to give a clear, there's nobody objective, but description, an account of what's going on in the city of Sparks. So I just wanted to say, I'm here, you got me. And I look forward to learning about all of you, and I'm doing a lot of work on history, but a lot of it's already up there. Because this is, as I said, this is not my first time through. And I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. This is it. I haven't bought a burial plot yet, but I'll probably get around to it. So, any questions?
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Okay, next Peter Lacos. Peter, come on up. Welcome, Pete.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Pete.
I'm going to make this really quick. I live in the community of the Zucchini Ranch on Los Altos and Sparks Boulevard. Okay, the entire community around me, people can park on both sides of the street. We can't. What's happened, the association came out with a new ruling. If you park your pickup truck in your driveway, the trailer hitches are sticking out. So they're citing people because of that. You can't park in the cul-de-sac, which makes sense in case there's an emergency. Emergency vehicles can get in. I was wondering if we could possibly change the rule there where we can park on both sides of the street. That's it.
We normally don't answer, Pete, but that's a HOA rule?
No, that's your rule.
I'm not aware of that rule, Pete. I'll have you talk to the chief.
Okay, the community takes care of the cul-de-sac.
The community association?
Correct. All right, now, the city of Sparks takes care of our community, like the street that I live on, Village Meadows. And some places you can park and some you can't. Now, since we've got a different caliber of person, a lot of working guys, they got the trucks, you can't park. Like, for example, my nephew is in business. He's got a big pickup truck. He comes home at night and he has to park like quite a distance away. So all it would take, it's red lined, the curb, but all it would take is the city to come take down the no parking signs, which would take literally minutes, and see if we can get a change, and we truly appreciate it, the community.
Okay. Let's get a hold of the chief. He'll get a hold of you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir. Oh.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay,
thanks for your time.
So give me a call. We'll talk about it, and I'll get the right person to respond. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else in the audience wishing to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the council. 5.1, approval of the agenda. Anybody want to pull anything? Okay, looking for a motion. Oh. Are you pushing your button?
Screen, no.
I don't think my screen's working over here.
We need a screen for his.
That's right. Do you want to make the motion?
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Lisa, can you get the
The buttons moved around too.
My screen's not
Yes
working.
and no on top
screen
of
of
each other.
who's asking
Same
to
was
talk?
over to the right.
Ah,
There
we
it
go.
is. Okay.
Oh, counts there.
Okay, 6.1, consideration and possible approval of the minutes of the Sparks City Council meeting for February 11th, 2019. Any changes? If not, looking for a motion, Mr. Dare.
Move to approve?
Okay, we have a motion, looking for a second, Mr. Abbott.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, 7.1, announcements, presentations, recognition items, and items of special interest. Proclamation for Rare Disease Day. And who is doing this one? Come on down. Welcome. Give us your name.
Tammy Hefty.
Tammy Hefty.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Anderson.
All right. So whereas there are nearly 7,000 diseases and conditions considered rare, each affecting fewer than 200,000 Americans in the United States, according to the National Institute of Health, And whereas, while each of these diseases may affect small numbers of people, rare diseases as a group affect almost 30 million Americans, and many are serious, debilitating conditions that have a significant impact on the lives of those affected. And whereas, while more than 450 drugs and biologics have been approved for treatment of rare diseases, according to the Food and Drug Administration, millions of Americans still have rare diseases for which there is no approved treatment. And whereas individuals and families affected by rare diseases often experience problems such as diagnosis delay, difficulty finding a medical expert, and lack of access to treatments of ancillary services. And whereas, while the public is familiar with such rare diseases, many patients and families affected by less widely known rare diseases bear a large share of the burden of funding research and raising public awareness to support the search for treatments. And whereas residents of Sparks are among those affected by rare diseases because nearly 1 in 10 Americans have rare diseases, therefore, the National Organization of Rare Disease Disorders, or NORD, is organizing a nationwide observance of Rare Disease Day on February 28th, 2019. Now, therefore, I, Ron Smith, Mayor, City of Sparks, Nevada, do hereby proclaim February 28th as Rare Disease Day. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of City of Sparks, Nevada, to be affixed this day.
We can get a picture, and then you can say a few words.
Okay, great, thank you.
Hey, Terry, give us a few words of wisdom here.
Oh, wow. I don't
Or
know if
the
I can
best you can
afford
do.
them. So I want to thank you for your support of Rare Disease Day. We've actually, this is the 3rd time that Sparks has recognized it, and I want to thank you for that. We're coming a long way. The biggest thing is awareness and recognizing the struggles that families live with who have rare diseases. My daughter is my reason for being involved in this, and a lot of times we have to go over to UC Davis for some of the care with the specialists that she needs to see. But I've recently learned that we've added some pediatric oncologists at Renown, and we're getting more and more specialists in the area, which is exactly what we need to do because we are a growing community. And as you heard, 1 in 10 Americans lives with a rare disease, which means as we're growing by leaps and bounds, we're going to have more and more need for medical professionals who are aware of some of these rare diseases and can diagnose them in a timely fashion and get people the health care that they need. So,
you know what's weird is I just got a text from my sister. She's flying back to North Dakota.
Uh-huh.
Her granddaughter has a rare kidney disease. They
Okay.
just found out. So she's on her way back there to see what she can do.
Yes, and my daughter's disease affects her kidneys as well and her eyes. And I was just connected with a family on Facebook who their daughter was 6 years old before she got diagnosed with the same eye condition that my daughter was diagnosed with 2 days old. And so, you know, there's, like it says in the proclamation, there's often a delay, and that can mean lost time for some of the treatments.
So is there a number if somebody wants to donate to this organization or a website?
Well, so I do this on behalf of the National Organization of Rare Diseases,
Okay.
and that's NORD. Their website is raredisease.org.
Okay.
And you can donate to NORD, but I would also recognize that you might know someone who has a rare disorder, and you might want to ask them, hey, is there some way that I could support you? Because a lot of these rare disorders have their own private foundations where it can more directly affect them as well. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank
Any
you,
other
Tammy.
questions?
Thank you,
Yeah.
Tammy.
Okay.
Okay, 7.2, announcement, boards and commissions vacancy. Mr. Driscoll.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Following announcement, the following committee appointment is available: Airport Noise Advisory Panel, 2 members, of which both need to be residents. Persons interested in serving on this committee should complete a community service application available from the clerk's office. You may also apply online at the city's website, www.cityofsparks.us. Click on Government on the web page. Then under Boards and Commissions, click Volunteering for a Sparks Board or Commission and fill out the online application and submit. Applications will be accepted until the close of business on Friday, March 1st, or until enough applicants have applied to fill the vacancies.
Okay, 7.3.
7.3 is another announcement. The following committee appointments is available. Civil Service Commission, 1 member for a partial term that will end on June 30th of 2021. A person may not serve as a member of the commission if he or she is an employee of the city, a member of the city council, or an appointed member of any other board, commission, or committee of the city, or is related within the 3rd degree of consanguinity or affinity to a person who is an employee of the city. Otherwise, if people are interested in this one, you also would apply a community service application available from the clerk's office, again at the website of www.cityofsparks.us, clicking on Government on the web page, Boards and Commissions, then click on Volunteering for Sparks Board or Commission and fill out the application, submit online. Applications for this committee appointment would be accepted until the close of business on Friday, March 15th, or until enough applications have applied and filled the vacancies.
Okay, 7.4, Mr. Driscoll.
Thank you. For the last one, this one's the following committee appointments available for the Sparks Building Code Board of Appeals. 2 members should have architectural experience or a builder or superintendent of building construction. 1 member should have structural and or civil engineering experience. 1 member should have mechanical engineering experience or be a mechanical or plumbing contractor. And lastly, 1 member should be an electrical engineer or an electrical contractor. Persons interested in serving on this committee should complete a community service application available from the city clerk's office. You may also apply online the city's website, www.cityofsparks.us. Click on Government on the webpage, then under Boards and Commissions, click Volunteering for a Sparks Board or Commission, fill out the online application, and submit. Applications will be accepted until the close of business on Friday, March 15th. And that's all I have, sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we'll move on to number 8, consent items. Anybody want to pull a consent item? Mr. Lawson.
I move, if no one wants to pull one, I'll move to approve 8.1 through 8.4 on consent items.
Okay, we have a motion. Looking for a second. Ms. Bybee?
Second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. Okay. General business 9.1, consideration, discussion, and possible direction to the city attorney concerning whether to dismiss pending litigation, City of Sparks. Allison, I'm going to open up public comment first. You can stay there, but I'm going to open that up. We have 1 card. I'm going to open up the public comment period. Come on down, George. And you want to speak on 9.1.
Ladies should not go first.
What's that?
I said perhaps the ladies should go first.
She's a lawyer.
I am as well. Even more to the point, Ed.
Go ahead, George.
Thank you. Thank you. Mayor, members of council. Nice to be with you this afternoon. I speak on behalf of the DeAndrea Community Association pertinent to general business item 9.1. That specifically has to do whether or not the council would recommend dismissal or extending the pending litigation that the city has between IPC DeAndrea LLC. Specifically, the DCA recommends ongoing active prosecution of the case. The city staff analysis and subsequent options posed for council consideration seem on their face to be fairly well balanced. Broadening the field of inquiry by asking questions, especially the right questions, is essential to arriving at proper conclusions. Key questions: how long has the 179-acre former golf course been fallow, leaving abandoned structures, havens for ne'er-do-wells, and targets for tagging? How many actual or rumored prospective buyers have come and gone during that period of time? In citing absence of financial impact, does staff analysis ignore impact from loss of life, potentially, property damage posed by wildfires in prone areas surrounding DCA, DeAndrea Ranch Phase 3, or the surrounding habitats in our community? What do we know? Grasses and brush recur and flourish in abundance each year, aggravated even more so by increased seasonal precipitation. Wildfires, inadvertent accident of nature, simple carelessness, are unpredictable in direction. Fires also create wind by their own inertia and are driven erratically by the Coriolis effect in our canyons and foothills. Dried grasses and bushes provide ample fuel, threatening our families, property, and first responders. Multiple drains that you'll see overhead dot the former golf course property with gates left open or damaged. Drains located near Moss and Mendive offer an open invitation to curious children and to others who would seek to harm them in such locations. Abandoned golf course structures, as noted in the staff analysis, are no less inviting. If you could put those images up, that would be great. In summation, clearly, optimistic though we may be, it remains anyone's guess when and or if the property will be sold in part or in total.
Excuse me, George, you may have to do it from there.
I'm sorry, then I missed the cue. Thank you. A talented attorney. In summation, clearly, optimistic though we may be, it remains anyone's guess when and or if the property will be sold in part or in total and redeveloped. Past history is not encouraging. If only in that regard, the option to council to recommend dismissal of pending litigation is premature. Staff observes that problems in the property will persist for the foreseeable future. City's March 2017 effort to seek declaratory and injunctive relief to abate the nuisance is laudable, absolutely. Absent issuance of further stays, we ask the council reinforce with a recommendation to actively prosecute pending litigation. Is it asking, one last question, is it fair to ask, even if we have to utilize litigation to insist on clearing not only the 25 feet of dispensable space, but also fairways and other areas of the fallow course, and repeatedly boarding up abandoned structures to ensure resolution of concerns identified by staff? If it took a second or two, if I could add one sentence.
Wrap it up.
As council, would you choose for your constituents, do all that you can, prosecuting the case to protect the community, or do nothing by dismissing the case and incurring liability as a result? What price do you want to pay? Thank you very much.
Thanks, George. Anybody else in the audience wish to speak at this time? See, none will bring it back to the council. And it's your turn, Allison. Come on up.
There you go.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor Smith and City Council. For the record, I'm Allison McCormick, Assistant City Attorney. As the council is aware, the City Attorney's Office filed a complaint against the property owner of the former DeAndrea Golf Club in June of 2017. That complaint sought a court order to demolish the clubhouse and maintenance building on the site, and also sought a court's declaration that the buildings are a nuisance. That complaint did not specifically request relief concerning weeds. The litigation was stayed between November 2017 and October 2018. During those stays, the property owner or its agents painted over graffiti, mowed weeds around the exterior 25 feet of the property, secured the clubhouse, and most significantly removed truckloads of debris from the clubhouse fire that happened in 2015. Since that last stay ended in October 2018, there's evidence of new vandalism, including graffiti. There's also evidence of trespassers accessing the clubhouse by removing the plywood that had been placed over the doors. In addition, weeds will continue to grow back each spring and summer. Removing the clubhouse debris was a significant effort undertaken by agents of the property owner. That removed the most dangerous condition on the property and achieved a primary objective of the litigation. Based on that dramatic improvement, dismissal might make sense. That change in circumstances, removing the clubhouse debris, is significant enough that the City Attorney's Office believed that it should seek City Council's direction about whether to proceed with this litigation or not. And this agenda item gives you the opportunity to weigh in on that. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions or comments? Mr. Anderson.
So I just want to make sure that I'm clear on this. So as far as the property, not everything has been resolved as far as our complaints that we had against the landowner. Is that correct?
That's correct. We sought a court order for the property owner to demolish the clubhouse and maintenance building, and that has not been done. The debris that was removed was the debris that remained after the fire in 2015.
Okay. And I mean, just to voice my concern, I do believe even though the debris was moved, it still, in my opinion, poses a safety concern with what's left on that property there. Not to mention some of the things that were addressed down by the maintenance shed where drums and things like that are still sitting there that haven't been taken care of. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Lawson.
So I don't know how much I can say with that, but one of the owners has a pretty long history with the city of Sparks, and it's not a very good reputation that he has. For one, I'm in favor of continuing on with the lawsuit and getting the relief. Because past experience has shown me that whatever this person says will not live up to it. And he hasn't yet one time lived up to his word.
Ms. Bybee.
In our initial litigation, we asked for the property to be demolish the clubhouse to abate the nuisance. And so even though the debris has been removed from the fire, they only halfway taken care of what that nuisance is. The weeds, I understand, are an ongoing nuisance as well. But I have a big issue, too, with the fact that the abatement that did happen was not the LLC. It was another party who was interested in possibly purchasing. That tells me a lot about this LLC and does not give me any reason why I feel we should not continue to move forward with the litigation because they have not been good partners. So they have not taken care of the nuisance and tried to work with the city of Sparks for fire reasons, for the graffiti, for the danger that it poses of the clubhouse and everything surrounding. They've made no effort. So I can't support dropping the litigation. I think we need to move forward because they have not been good partners. Thank you.
Mr. Anderson.
I'd like to make a motion if that's all right.
Go ahead and do a discussion. Go ahead, Paul. Make your motion.
All right. I would like to make a motion that we direct city attorney to actively prosecute the case currently pending, the City of Sparks versus IPC DeAndrea LLC, case number CV17-01066.
Okay, we have a motion. Look for a second. Mr. Dare.
I can second that, but also with the discussion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mr. Dare.
My concern is just also the precedent that it would set, so I appreciate us moving forward to say we don't put up with this, we don't want this, we want the pressure on them, but I think we have other businesses, other things watching this as well, and we want to make sure in our city people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, so just want to make that clear.
Okay, any further discussion?
I have one question.
Ms. Bybee.
Do we need to clarify in the motion that each party will bear its own attorney fees and costs?
You do not. That would only apply if the motion were to dismiss.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. Thanks, Allison. Okay, 9.2. Consideration, discussion, and possible direction to the city manager and city attorney's office to institute proceedings to revoke production and cultivation business license currently held by NNV Operations, Inc., DBA Silver State Trading. Brandon, come on down.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
While I do not have any financial interest and I'm not a decision maker as it relates to this particular item in any activity that would be coming after today, I do have a very strong relationship with a person who has become an employee of this company. So I feel that I should recuse myself from the conversation. While I may be involved in other parts of it, I think at this point I should step away from the dais ask Mr. Kreutz to come and sit up in my stead and then let you continue your conversation.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Kreutz? Okay, Brandon, go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Brandon Sendall, Assistant City Attorney for the record. The purpose of this agenda item is to provide the council with some information related to NNB Operations 1 Inc., DBA Silver State Trading. I'll just refer to them as Silver State Trading going forward. They are a marijuana cultivation and production company that has cultivation and production licenses with the city, and to provide the council with an opportunity to direct the city manager's office as well as the city attorney's office as to whether to institute license revocation proceedings based on Silver State Trading's recent payment history. So without going too far into the details that are outlined in the agenda, the high-level history here is that Silver State Trading has been late in paying its full business license fee obligations for the past 3 calendar quarters. The first 2 quarters, Silver State Trading asserted a legal argument that would have limited its business license obligations, but Silver State Trading backed off that position once there were discussions of possible revocation proceedings being issued. So based on that, Silver State Trading did pay its second and third quarter business license fees, albeit late, and they did pay all applicable late fees. And then as to the third quarter at issue, which is fourth quarter of 2018, the city's business license office contacted Silver State Trading, which is the normal practice, to schedule their payment, and the business license office was informed. I believe the words used were they were unable to pay. So there are specific grounds under Sparks Municipal Code for license revocation. These include failure to pay license fees, or refusal or neglecting to comply with any provisions of Chapter 5 of the Sparks Municipal Code. But this agenda item is not asking you to decide right now whether any potential grounds for revocation have in fact occurred. This agenda item is only to provide you the opportunity to direct whether the process should start or whether it should not start. In order for a revocation to actually take place, the council has to authorize that process. It has to authorize the commencement of, it's a specific series of steps outlined under the Sparks Code. The first thing would be the council authorizing the mailing of a complaint to the license holder, Silver State Trading in this instance, after which the business would have at least 5 days to submit an answer to the city clerk's office. After an answer is filed, then there would be a hearing set in front of this council in which the business owner would have an opportunity to be heard before an actual revocation could take place. So that's the process. There's actually, if there were to be a revocation, there's actually 2 council decisions that would be necessary. The first is what we're discussing here today, whether the process should even begin. And then the second one would be at a full-scale hearing whether revocation is appropriate. With that, I'm available for questions. I believe we have representatives from the Business Licensing Office and Silver State Trading here as well.
Okay. Mr. Lawson.
Well, I want to hear from the
Business owners?
Yep.
Are the business owners here? Would you like to speak, sir? I'd love to. Come on down.
I didn't know I was going to be called up.
Okay. Just state your name and for the record.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor Smith and Councilman. My name is John Sutton. I'm the CEO and founder of several companies, but ultimately NNB Ops 1, which is known DBA Silver State Trading, and Reno Sparks. Will Hitchcock is my CFO, former Naval SEAL commander, and he's also a JD, so he's an attorney as well. I think one thing that was left out that's actually relevant is whether we paid the Q4 fee, which you did not mention, but we actually did. So not only during the period of when we actually had an interpretational differentiation in terms of we were trying to interpret the code. I think what all of us need to acknowledge, I guess I'm on a 3-minute time window.
Go ahead.
Is that all of us are relatively new to the cannabis space, both you as administrators of the code and me as a practitioner of the code. The reason that I got into this business was actually, and interestingly, because my son actually has one of the rare disorders that was mentioned, and I was grateful to see that on February 28th, you've made the decision to celebrate. I want to talk to you afterwards. But we had a difference of opinion between our attorney and Will Hitchcock, who is one of the domain experts regarding tax management in the cannabis industry. He is considered one of the most knowledgeable people in the United States right now. And as we were reading through the way we were paying code, there was uncertainty. It wasn't done out of malfeasance. We weren't intending not to pay, but ultimately I wanted clarity as a board member, founder, and the CEO in terms of were we paying correctly? This is Q2 and Q3. Will did his homework. Will admit we weren't as communicative during the process as we should have been. Steve Driscoll and I have communicated on the level of communication that I should have perpetrated. I've been apologetic. When we understood through our attorney, Brad Chamberlain in Town Esquire, that we had paid incorrectly, we remunerated the city of Sparks at that time. Q4 happened, the recent payment, on January 30th of 2019. The city of Sparks did indeed reach out and ask my office manager, Ann Lacey, if we were intending to come in and make that payment. We had a 3-day gap in funds to do so. By next Tuesday, if you think about business days, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, I had the funds capable of coming in, but the city of Sparks was unable to accept our payment because it needs to accompany a policeman to be there accepting cash from a cannabis industry. So we were 3 days delinquent, primarily because the cash management issues that I have to deal with in the city of, not only city of Sparks, but the state of Nevada, if everyone here is cognizant of the fact that we cannot legally bank, and ultimately we cannot, under the recreational code that was established for Nevada marijuana, actually collect cash on our own. Ultimately what's happened is there for us to deliver product in this state legally, there's a 3 to 4 week gap before we collect. And ultimately what had happened is there are several groups in Southern Nevada that are simply not paying their bills. What happened is I thought I had the cash coming in through the third-party company called Invictus. It did not arrive. Ann got the call from the city of Sparks and said, we can't make it. Now what she didn't do, and I asked her about this again today, she didn't actually make a plan to come in. And ultimately I wish she had.
Who's she?
Ann Lacey is my office manager, Mayor Smith. And so ultimately, we had the cash within 3 days because I flew someone down to collect for us instead of waiting another week or two for Invictus to do this. And we brought it in on the 12th, I believe. And the only reason there was another week added was because of the inability to bring cash over spontaneously, requiring police escort here within the city facility. So ultimately, we've made a couple mistakes in communication. Ironically, we are actually considered the prototype of this industry in the state of Nevada. Brian Sandoval's office used us as the paradigm through which cannabis businesses should be operated. We have no infractions whatsoever against our business for any regulatory code violation, either in the city of Sparks or with the state of Nevada. The FBI uses my facility as the prototype. So does the DEA. So does the DOJ. We've been late on a couple payments, but our balance owed is 0. So, you know, I want to be a good player in the cannabis space. It's difficult to manage this business, but ultimately I appreciate the time that you guys are giving us to express ourselves. I did not prepare because I realistically didn't know I was going to be here until 4 hours ago. but I appreciate your time. Do you mind if I give Will a chance to say
Sure,
something?
go ahead, Will.
Honorable Mayor and honorable council members, I became the CFO of this company October 1st, at which time I inherited a difference of opinion that was expressed to me about the interpretation of the city code of the city of Sparks relating to their gross receipts tax of 3% on gross receipts. There were two interpretations that were permissible, or let's say potentially things that could be brought forward. One was, what were the gross receipts of sales by the entity within the city of Sparks? The other is, and which we finally settled upon after advice of council, gross receipts worldwide. The city of Sparks interpretation is correct. The way that this code section is basically interpreted and complied by us is 3% of our sales as an entity within the city of Sparks on worldwide sales of any type. So we did acquiesce. We didn't get our response from the legal counsel we had reached out to until the day before we capitulated to the city of Sparks interpretation, which caused us to be late for the second and third quarters. However, once we had that, we complied in full. We did pay the late fees. We paid late fees for whenever we have been delinquent. We intend to do that forever if we are ever late because of collection issues or management issues. But the fact is, we want to be a good neighbor. We want to be a participant in the community. We want to pay our fees and pay our taxes. So, mea culpa, I came in late. I basically presented the argument to city manager and legal counsel. We were incorrect in our interpretation. We agreed that we were wrong, and we've tried to fix that. The last issue of the fourth quarter delinquency was literally a lack of ability to collect the money that was due us legally and pay it on time. Many businesses could be late. I don't think that we're alone in being that way, but we intend to pay our late fees even if we are late.
And have done so for Q4.
Yes, and we have done so. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Come on up, Brandon. Okay, questions or comments, Mr. Lawson?
I'm ready to make a motion if you done with discussion.
Is there any other? Charlene, you have some questions?
Just comments.
Okay.
We hold business licenses for multiple businesses in the city of Sparks, and we expect our businesses to comply with the Sparks Municipal Code when we grant the licenses and when people are going in for new licenses or re-permitting, and there's an established code and rules that go along with every business license that operates in the city, including with the marijuana industry, very clear-cut rules that we set forth when recreational and medical marijuana were approved in our city. An ability for business not to collect what's due to them and hence not pay the city of Sparks money due to us that also incurs more staff time, funds that we expected to come in that did not, is unacceptable. I really have a hard time with that. It's more than, and it's been 3 times, and I think second and third quarter, we get the discrepancies and questioning of whether we're calculating correctly or not, and late fees are paid, and I appreciate that. But the city manager who spoke at the time with this business requesting, and they agreed, upon making sure that they would be making their payments and they would make them on time, and then we come back fourth quarter and we're going through the same thing. And I don't think the city of Sparks should have to every quarter be looking at any business and have to dispense more staff time, delay payments due to us. It's not how we do business in the city of Sparks. So I'm going to let someone else make a motion, and I will see where I stand on that motion.
Any other questions or comments? Mr. Lawson.
I'm going to direct the city manager and the city attorney's office to institute proceedings to revoke Northern Nevada Operations 1 Inc., DBA Silver State Trading's cultivation and production business license by mailing a complaint as outlined in SMC 5.80.110A.
Okay, we have a motion looking for a second. Mr. Anderson.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. Okay, Brandon, you have your direction.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you.
And one thing I'll note in the code, it allows the business license holder 5 days to issue an answer unless the city council provides additional time. I don't know if the council wants to address that. If
For me, Mr. Mayor, I would think that the city manager should, if that, I mean, obviously deadlines are not their specialty, so if they need a little more time, I want to give them that opportunity, but we're not going to give them 2 months or a month. You know, it's, if you need 10 days instead of 5, I'm okay with that.
Have him contact Mr. Driscoll. Okay. Thanks, Brandon. Somebody go find Mr. Driscoll. Oh, there he is. Okay, now for the exciting stuff. Consideration, discussion, and possible confirmation of the mayor's appointment of Neil C. Kreutz as city manager effective March 15, 2019 for possible action. Mindy, are you doing this?
Neil's wife was.
Actually, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Based on that it's your appointment, the staff report is set up for you and I to deal with this. So as the staff report denotes that in our charter, the mayor appoints a candidate to be the city manager. It requires confirmation by the council. So based on where the staff report is now, this would be time and place for you to suggest an appointment and then for the council to take action on your appointment.
Well, first of all, I'm very proud to nominate Neil. He's put in the work for the city. He's been head of departments. He's been the assistant city manager for 2 years now. He's well qualified. Neil is the man for the job. So I recommend Neil. Neil Kreutz is our next city manager effective March 15th. Looking for a motion. Mr. Dare.
I move to approve Neil Kreutz as the appointment for the next city manager.
We have a motion. Look for a second. Mr. Abbott.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I went blank there. Seeing none, please vote. It passes unanimously. Come on down, Neil. The important part is next one too, but I'm sure you want to say a few words, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mayor Smith and members of the council, I'm extremely grateful to be sitting here in front of you and ready to step in to follow Mr. Driscoll in his footsteps. This has been a career goal of mine for 20 years. And now here I am at a couple of steps away. So I am honestly excited, flattered, and humbled by the opportunity that you have put in front of me. I look forward to the opportunity to continue to serve our citizens of Sparks, albeit in a different role. But as I said, it's one I've aspired to for a long time. I truly enjoy serving the public and have done it in many ways in my career. And I think it's got really kind of three components to it. It's certainly rooted in my engineering background. I'm a civil engineer by education and experience.
We didn't hold that against you.
You didn't hold that against me, and thank you very much. And engineers, they serve the public, whether they're, designing roadways or sewers or storm drains or buildings, or taking a look at the soil mechanics that have to hold everything up. Engineers serve, and so I've been doing that for a long time. I enjoy it. I did manage to work my way into management here in the city, and have enjoyed learning how to do that. I've sought some additional formal education to help me there, and that has brought another dimension or facet to my service, where I might not be providing the service directly much anymore, but I am assisting those who do. It's management's role, in my opinion. When you boil it all down, it's management's responsibility to allow people to work most effectively. And they do that by providing resources and by laying out a system of accountability. And it's something that I enjoy doing. The third facet that I want to mention is the Great Recession. That was hell on earth to live through, and to help manage this city through that process. It's not a period in my life I ever want to have to live through again. But I learned tremendously from it, because I found myself repeatedly thinking, we can't keep doing this. We can't cut and still serve. We can't cut and still serve. And in many cases, I found myself finding new creative ways to get things done where I didn't think we were going to be able to, even just a day or two earlier. Now, that's not to say that there aren't things that we don't do anymore, because there are. There are a lot of things that we used to do that we don't do anymore. But the recession helped me hone my service skills, both from the engineering front and from the management front, and I think has done a lot to prepare me for this position on which I'm about to enter. So thank you very much for the opportunity to sit here in front of you. I look forward to working for you and working with you. I do enjoy helping provide policy input, provide opportunities, to play devil's advocate sometimes. All aimed towards wanting to make the best set of informed policy decisions that you can make as a board of directors for our city. And I look forward to assisting you in those efforts. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Neil. You had a great mentor, I think, for the last couple of years, too. So why don't we do this? Why don't you get your wife down here, and we'll get a picture of the both of you with the council. Okay. And then we'll go on to the contract, see if we actually are going to hire you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Negotiate.
Yeah, so far you have the job with no pay.
Yeah. You might not smile so much at that point.
Do you think he worked for Donald? Would he work for Donald?
I think
president?
He may.
$1.
$1. Come on down. Can we get over here? Okay. Can you get us in there?
A lot of big government on this side.
Suck it in, guys.
Okay, give me one more second. Thank you.
Sorry for a mess. It's like my life.
You doing this one? I am. Okay. Okay, moving on to 9.4. Consideration, discussion, and possible approval of an employment agreement, AC 5553, between the City of Sparks and Neil C. Kreutz for the position of city manager with a yearly salary of $223,100.80. Mindy, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. Mindy Falk, Human Resources Manager for the record. Today I'm presenting the employment contract for Neil Kreutz as the City Manager, and this was negotiated between Mayor Smith and Neil Kreutz. This is a 3-year contract beginning March 15th, 2019, and I'm just going to present a few of the highlights of the contract. First, pay. The proposed starting salary is $223,100. This salary is well within the Hay Range 26 established in the September 2018 class and comp study. The maximum of that range is $248,350. The $223,100 is 5% higher than Mr. Cruz's current salary, which is consistent with the city's promotion practices. So generally, when we promote somebody, depending on the contract resolution, the person would receive 5% increase at the time of their promotion. In 6 months, there's a potential for a 5% increase based upon the performance evaluated by the mayor. This is also consistent with our promotional practices throughout the city. Continuing with our theme of consistency, a cost of living adjustment is built into the contract that matches the mid-management technical and professional resolution. This will ensure uniformity in our city's hay compensation system, as well as reduce compression. And compression is when a subordinate makes close to or more than their supervisor. Beginning in 2020, a performance review will be conducted by the second council meeting in May. At that time, the council may also give up to a 5% increase. And last in pay, I'm going to point out that the longevity bonus is set at $7,500 net. The benefits package in this contract are the same as the executive resolution. There is language in there about ethical commitment. This section says that the contract holds both parties to the ethical standards of the ICMA Code of Ethics and was included in the agenda item. The termination clause, this clause would be in effect if either party would like to end the contract before the 3 years are up. The language in there describes how the city or Mr. Cruz could terminate the contract. Depending on the conditions, different provisions would apply. And then finally, there is no financial impact for this fiscal year of this new contract. We believe the vacancy savings of the assistant city manager would more than cover the increase of the city manager's salary. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions or comments? Mr. Lawson?
I don't have a question. I'm ready for a motion.
Go ahead, sir. Make that motion.
Well, it is my pleasure to move to approve the employment agreement AC 5553. Uh-oh, it went away. Siri went on me. Okay,
Siri
hold on.
made the
We're going to
directions
Taco
to
Bell. Between the City of Sparks and Neil Cruz, the position of city manager with a yearly salary of $223,100.80. Don't forget the 80 cents. And authorize the mayor to execute the contract. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion. Looking for a second, Ms. Bybee.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, comments? Seeing none, please vote. Yay again.
All right.
Okay. There is no public hearing action items related to planning and zoning. There is no planning and zoning public hearings and action items. Comments. I'll open up the public comment period. Anybody in the public wishing to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the council for comments from the mayor, city council, and city manager. Mr. Anderson.
A couple things, Mr. Mayor. First, I wanted to send out our condolences to family of Wayne Alexander. He passed away this weekend. He actually was the representative for my ward for the Senior Citizens Advisory Committee. So we just want to pass along our condolences to the family. Second, last week had an opportunity to spend time with the snow crew for the City of Sparks. I want to just thank Ron Corman and his team. They do a great job behind the scenes. While most of us are snuggled up in our beds during a storm, they're out moving snow and getting the job done. So I just want to thank Ron, his crew, and especially Larry for letting me hang with them that night. So thank you.
Okay. Mr. Dare.
I want to say on behalf of all of us, I'm sure, congratulations again, and I look forward to the years to come. And thank you, sir. I'll miss you. I also want to say a groundbreaking March 29th for the Nevada Veterans Memorial. Anybody out there listening, I know everybody in here has heard about it already, but if anybody's tuning in on our Facebook Live and March 29th at 10 a.m., Nevada Veterans Memorial at the Marina, we'd invite you. It's going to be an awesome celebration. Please come.
Okay, any other questions or comments? You know, I'll make a comment to Mr. Driscoll. It's the first time I've sat through something where you watched your replacement come up. So that's got to be hard. You put a lot of years in with the city, and it's duly appreciated. You know that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, without objection, we are adjourned. Don't leave, the exciting redevelopment agency is coming out.
Okay, and I would ask the council to wait just a moment while we get our online here ready to go for redevelopment. They're going to give me a high sign. We good? Oh, okay, we're good already.
Hey, John.
I'd
John,
like to,
can you hang around for a couple minutes? Yes,
Okay.
please.
Oh, by the way, there's cake out in the lobby, Neil.
Go have some cake, and I'll join you out there in a few minutes.
Hey, Neil, I don't know if somebody's here to cut the cake, but that's your first official duty.
okay.
No,
Yeah.
you better cut it now, so
Yeah.
there's people out there.
Okay. I'd like to call to order the Sparks Redevelopment Agency meeting of Monday, February 25th, 2019, with a roll call.
Chair Bybee?
Here.
Members Abbott?
Here.
Lawson? Here. Anderson?
Here.
Smith?
Here.
Dare?
Here.
Legal Officer Adams? Chief Administrative Officer Driscoll.
Here.
We have a quorum, thank you.
Thank you. Item number 3, public comment. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none, I'll close public comment. Item number 4, agenda 4.1, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by agency member Lawson, second by agency member Dare. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Item 5.1, minutes. Consideration, discussion, and possible approval of the minutes of the Sparks Redevelopment Agency meeting of January 28th, 2019. Do I have corrections, additions, or a motion to approve? Agency member Dare?
Move to approve.
Do I have a second? Agency member Anderson?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? None. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Item 6.1, business items. Consideration and possible acceptance of the report of the claims and bills approved for payment and appropriation transfers for the period of January 10th, 2019 through February 6th, 2019. I have a motion to approve by agency member Lawson.
Move to approve.
And a second, agency member Abbott.
Second.
A motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Item 7.1, comments from the public. Do I have any comments from the public? Seeing none, I'll close. Item 7.2, comments from the agency and chief administration officer. Seeing none, this meeting's adjourned.
Done.